be awakened by the whispering of love. Pull me close to your heart. Let the silence now be filled with your voice. Find and surrender. My heart is fully yours. Caught in a moment, captivated by the unseen. Your loving heart for me reveal. Speak to me, let my heart be awakened by the whispering of love. Pull me close, pull me close to your heart. Let the silence now be filled with your voice. The words I hear you say, you've been speaking now for all of time, all of time. The words I hear you say, you've been speaking now for all of time, all of time. The words I hear you say, you've been speaking now for all of time, all of time. You're with me, you're for me. You have a plan for me, and I will never walk alone. You're with me, you're for me. You have a plan for me, and I will never walk alone. Speak to me, let my heart be awakened by the whispering of love. Pull me close to your heart. Let the silence now be filled with your voice. Speak to me, let my heart be awakened by the whispering of love. Pull me close to your heart. Let the silence now be filled with your voice. Filled with your voice.
Beloved, thank you very much for joining us. I know that God is doing some great work in your life, and I'm so delighted that today is another beautiful, special day. Just like I already told you that this month is dedicated to the men, the fathers that are doing a difference in people's lives, in their children's lives, in their families' lives, in the community's life. And of course, that's why I came all the way to Rubis International Christian Learning Center so that I can speak to fathers that are making a difference. It's a pleasure to have you, gentlemen, on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for gracing us today. All right. I'll start with each one of you introducing themselves and, let the world know who you are. Okay, I'll start with you, Captain. Please take your microphone and introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, moderator. I am called Captain Emmanuel Mutebi.
Yes.
And I'm a captain at Uganda Airlines.
Uganda Airlines.
Thank you, yes.
All right, that's wonderful. All right, you have children?
6 children.
6 children. you have many wives or you have one wife? It's very important for me to ask. Okay, okay, good, beautiful. All right, let's get to hear from you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Samuel Opulot. I have 2 children, a young man who's made 16 and a young lady who is 14.
All right, all right.
Yeah, I serve with a Christian organization. I serve with the Africa Inland Mission.
Africa Inland. Okay,
That's where I serve.
okay.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening. Thank you, Vincent.
All right. Now you also have 2 wives,
No,
3
I have
wives,
one.
1 wife?
I have one wife.
One wife. Okay. Alice. So Alice, wherever you are, we want to say, thank you very much for keeping up with this man. We want to celebrate our wives, you understand? So yes.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm called Nathan Iwere. I've been married for 18 years.
18 years. Wow.
5 children. Yeah, 3 girls and 2 boys. I'm a writer and a publisher.
All right.
I run a literary consultancy called CC Analytica.
Okay.
Yeah. So I write books.
All right.
Still fun for other people.
Okay. How many books have you written about men?
About men?
Men.
Good question. 1 actually. It's still in the works. It's not my book.
Okay.
It's a client's book.
All right.
Because as a consultant writer, I help people who have ideas to write, help them, produce their books. So there's a very wonderful book every father should read. It's called The Fireplace.
The
The
Fireplace.
Journey of Masculinity.
Wow.
Main title is The Fireplace, but subtitle is A Journey of Masculinity.
A Journey of Masculinity. That's wonderful. I would love to have a copy of that book. When is it going to be coming out?
I think next month.
Next month. Now, before we talk about fathers, I want to celebrate the wives that you have. Okay, so I want to start with you, Captain. How did you? That's a nice story to start from.
Yeah, thank you very much. My wife is called Penina.
Penina.
Debbie.
Wow.
We have 6 children. We met many years ago. Apart from flying, I'm a musician.
Okay. You play drums, you play guitar.
The keyboard,
Okay.
saxophone, and I also do singing.
Wow. I hope I could hear you sing today or play some music instrument.
So many years ago, I was a member of the Christian Fellowship,
Okay.
and I met my wife, who was a member of the choir there.
Okay.
So that's how we met, through music.
All right.
I got married in 1997.
97.
Yes. So you can count back how many.
Yes.
Then we have 6 wonderful children.
Beautiful.
The first born is called Jordan. He's flying. Second born is Angel Mutebi. She's in aviation school as well,
Wow.
learning how to fly.
Okay.
Third born is Gabriela. She's in Nairobi. She's doing a degree in mechanical engineering.
Wow.
And then below those is Israel Mutebi, Emma Mutebi, and Grace Mutebi, who are actually students in Ruby here.
In Ruby. Okay. That's wonderful, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, you said 6. Those are 5 now.
I think I mentioned 6.
6?
Yes, those are 6.
I missed out on the 6th one. So who's the last one? Jordan is the last one.
Jordan is the first. Angel, Gabriela, then there's Emma, Israel, and Grace.
Beautiful. How do you see many years down the road with your wife? Does she give you that glimpse? Does she give you that, the first time you met her, does she really give you that glimpse?
Oh, yes, why not? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Challenging years, the challenging events are there. But all in all, we thank God for everything.
Okay.
And we're happy to be here.
And so it's not been a straight road down the road. It's been some challenges, it's been up, but you're still moving on.
Exactly.
Perfect. Let's come to you, sir. Mr. Opalot. Tell me about your love journey, how you met your wife.
My wife is called Alice.
Alice.
We met at university. We were all very active in the Christian Union. You know, like choirs can be,
Okay.
connect through music.
Okay.
But a few years down the road, after university, we got married. We got married in 2006, so you can work the months.
Yes. Yes.
We have 2 children. Timothy is 16, like I said, and Cheryl is 14. He's 14.
14.
Okay. Next 14 this year.
All right. All right. And when you look down the road, you tell me that she still give you that spark.
Yes, she does. We've built a friendship
Okay.
over the years, and I think that that's the thing that has kept us going. We are not just husband and wife; we are actually friends, and we've served together in Christian ministry all through from the time we got married. So we connect. There are many points to connect beyond just being husband and wife. We're friends.
How did you meet? What's her name?
My wife is called Carol.
Carol.
How we met, it was 2005. That time I was teaching at Makerere University at the School of Art, where she was a student. I went back to teach as soon as I had finished university as a part-time lecturer. And so my class was quite big, 3rd-year students, and it was a compulsory subject, so everyone had to
Attend the class.
So I had over 120 students.
Wow.
But of course, being university, not everyone comes. You have 80, normally 80, 70 regular attendees. So I didn't know her. She used to sit maybe somewhere behind there. So I met her in her 2nd semester, 3rd year, 1 month to finishing her course. That's when she worked in my office, and she needed help, over some coursework, something.
And you gave help. I like that. I like that.
How is that possible? I mean, she was a mature girl. I was single.
Yeah.
I just knew she's the one.
All right.
And it took only 6 months from that meeting to our wedding.
Wow. 6 months.
Yes, everything in between just
Now, I met my wife in studio too. All right. In South Africa. My wife is South African. I met my wife, Promise, in South Africa. She won the competition. There was a competition that South Africa knows to sing. So she was winner number 1. And then I had gone to South Africa with my band to record some music. So we were recording some music studio, and they cut us short in that studio, and they drove us out. They say there's someone who's coming to check out the studio, because when the winner wins in South Africa, they take her to different studios so she can, see whether she can use that studio or something. So what was surprising, that on that day that we were in the studio, they cut us short. They said to us, we will repay you your time. And then they brought a new carpet. They brought a cleaner to clean up and put new flowers there. So I'm standing in the corridor, and who is this person they are bringing into the studio? And she came with a secretary and a bouncer, and you know how South African can treat their artists. And then she walked by me, and I looked at her, and I'm like, who does she think she is? I was angry. So we went back home, and we were foreigners in South Africa. We had just gone to sing, and I come back, and one of my friends that I was with in the studio goes to say, yeah, but they drove us out of that studio, but that girl was so beautiful. I said to my friend, you're crazy. Where is the beauty in that girl? I was angry. So after about a week, I go back to the same studio, and there is this girl. And I looked at this girl, man, I could not say nothing. I could not say a word. I just went to her and said, hey, I wish you could be my friend. And then later, I say, I want to marry you. And she said, no, you cannot get married to me. You come from Uganda. She got her phone, and the only thing that she knew about Uganda was Idi Amin. And she said, you guys even eat people. I said, we will not eat you. And, I walked out of my way, and today we have 3 beautiful babies. Angel, who is here in Ruby, is my number 1, and 2 others, and that's my journey. That's my journey. I always believe that men are there to win at any particular one. Now, after knowing you and you know me now, we want to talk about men. You have gone through quite a lot. We see a lot of messages and news today how men are abused, how men throw their nugget, their responsibility, and they run away. We want to understand who men are because this species called men is very difficult to understand. But I hope our viewers out there will get to understand from our experiences. So I don't want us to be too spiritual. I want us to be physical because we are going to address men who are everything. At one moment, they're spiritual. At one moment, they're physical. So they are watching us right now. I want to start with you, okay? I want to start with you. Give me a definition of what you think a man is.
Oh, man. First of all, is male.
A man is male. Yes.
First of all, is male, and that's biological.
Okay, okay.
That's my own personal conviction.
Okay.
So first, a man is male.
All right, all right.
Secondly, I think men, there's something about being masculine and not necessarily feminine, and that comes with responsibility, and that responsibility is varied. As a father, you're more than, first of all, you're more than a biological father. Yes, you are biological, but a father is someone that your children look up to. There's a certain authority and responsibility that is entrusted to you. Even in our cultures, there's a structure within the family. Within our cultures, there's a structure within the family. But even, I'm of Christian persuasion. Even God does define that in terms of responsibility, and we can go into that. But there's responsibilities that for a father, both towards your wife and also towards your children.
Okay.
Towards your wife, your responsibility is to love, and again, we can go into what that means. Towards your children, there's a whole 4 things I can talk about in terms of responsibility. One is drawing them to the faith. That's one.
Okay.
2 is the question of being the moral standard.
Okay.
Ensuring that that's happening at home. 3, and that not just talk, but being the example for that. And I think ultimately you can only do that if you're present, not when you're absent. You can be a father when you're present. We can explore that, but for now, that's...
Let's just give it that. Okay, Captain. Right. There you go, man. Take it on from there.
Right, thanks. A father, as your colleague has just mentioned, if you left alone the biological element, which is, I agree with him, a man is male. That's the white topic, but I believe a man is male. I look at a man or a father as a representative of God.
Okay.
We have 2 spiritual realms. We have the spiritual and the physical. And in the spiritual, we have hierarchy. We have God the Father, especially from the faith that I come from, Christian.
Yes.
We have God the Father, the Son, and the Holy
And the Holy
Spirit.
Spirit.
Hierarchy, and we have the Father at the top of the spiritual hierarchy. I believe that when we come to the other realm, which is physical, which God created as physical, a father comes on top of the hierarchy of the physical realm in the order of a family.
Yes.
And it has been properly defined that a man is the head of the family. And with that comes responsibilities. Just like God has, we do have responsibilities. We like provision. We need to protection, provision, guidance, encouraging. All those are roles that come with the title father. Thank you.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Captain. Let me take it to you. Mr. Author, you have a lot to say now.
Yeah, I mean, they really made a fantastic summary of what a father, what it means to be a father, especially if I may add, in this evolving world. The world is changing. The world of 20 years ago, 10 years, 5, it's not the same world. The dynamics are different, socially, technologically, and everything. So there is no longer a static definition or understanding of, or at least there's a lot of confusion now about what the father stands for. But I mean, the standard is set, you know, like Captain said, we are like God's representatives here on earth. And we carry a lot of responsibility, a huge responsibility, just leading, to be a leader, both a moral leader and a spiritual leader of a home. No wonder some men just walk away because they get overwhelmed. You know, no wonder men usually die earlier than women because they get overwhelmed and it takes a toll, which becomes a physical burden, a physical and health. You know, at a certain age, if you see someone deteriorating, not knowing they've been dealing with a certain weight for many years.
Yes, yes.
So it's not easy to be a father. Let me put that categorically. And but the grace is there. By the time God made us men, first male, then afterwards fathers, He gave us the grace to handle, especially if you trust in Him. Now I wonder people who don't have God, how they handle. Frankly, I don't know.
Yes,
I need to ask them.
Yeah.
How do you manage? You know, because for me as a believer and as a Christian, it's been, sometimes you just have to cast your burdens to, at least to work with God for wisdom, you know, leading your wife who is an adult. I believe you agree with me. That alone, if you remove the children, leading your wife and being that is hard enough.
Yes.
When you add children, you know, who may be different ages, it might be father of a teenager, then in between, then up to maybe a toddler. How you deal with these age groups is totally different. You deal with the toddler, you speak the toddler's language, you play the toddler thing. Then, so you have to multiply yourself without reneging on the other responsibilities that you have to do, especially providing. Because providing then means you have to work, and you have to really work hard. My fellow parents here, I have 3 children in this school. You understand what that means? So to be able to shoulder the burden and keep your family happy, and you really have to work hard, which unfortunately some fathers have used as an excuse to stay away. Okay? So if you see me around all the time, what are you going to eat? You hear a man asking. So he's away doing this, traveling and coming back when children are sleeping, then leaving while they're still sleeping. All that is good, to work hard and provide for the family, but it doesn't make up for the other responsibilities. So to strike that balance is the hardest thing any father of this generation can ever go through.
Can do. Wow, this is a mouthful, man. I know you guys are just, you know, jotting down. I told you, don't even think about whatever they're talking about. Just write them down, because you're gonna have a moment to just, you know, reflect. Trust me, this is so deep. Now we have a generation here that also thinks that they can take up a father's role. There are many women that can think they can take up a father's role. What do you talk about it? What do you think about it?
Well, one reality is that we have so many single parents. Ladies raising children alone, men raising children alone. That's certainly a reality, and I think that in God's design of family, He has allocated particular roles and responsibilities. I believe that the father is brings the presence of a father, a male figure, a father figure in a family, brings stability to the home. Where where there is where there are no father figures, it takes a lot for a woman to rise up to the position of being a father, enforcing discipline, and at the same time being the loving mother. Enforcing moral, it is possible to do that, but at some point it catches up with people. One time, a young lady walks up to our home several years after, and she walks up to make inquiries about her father, whom she had not ever met, and she had been told that somehow we knew who the father was. This is now someone who is in her 20s. She's grown up, but the yearning for the father remains. And I think that there's something within us that God puts in us that appreciates the value and the presence of either party, the mother and the father. Each of us have a role. And so you can see someone grows up, and even when they are old, they are still searching. And I think that the searching is because there was something that was missed as they grew up. Again, like I said, I think that in raising children, the presence of both parents brings balance to children. I want you to, again, if you look at families where both might be present, but there is dissonance in the relationship between the two,
Come on.
most likely you'll find children who are emotionally imbalanced. Most likely. And so it's more than just presence of fathers, but it's also the enabling environment that the wife provides for the father to be a father to the children.
Yes.
Because you can be present, but your presence and fatherhood is undermined by the very partner you have. And so when you have dissonance in the relationship as well, you're likely to have struggles in being a father. But point for me is fathers bring balance. They bring balance and stability in the family. Now, there are things you will see, and I see this in my house. I hope my kids won't kill me for this.
Ah, come on now.
But there are times when, my wife will insist, get out of bed, and the young man will turn. Get out of bed, and he will turn. Get out of bed. And I don't think it's because he does not respect his mother. I don't think it is that. But I come and I knock at the door and I simply call the name. I don't have to shout. I don't have to do anything. Just the fact that I stood at the door. The authority figure is seen.
Come on. Yes.
And the young man will get out of his bed and do whatever he's doing. So that balance within the family is critical and important. So yeah, if you raise your child without father figure, it's possible. You can raise a brilliant young person, but I think that there's something that the presence of a father adds to the upbringing of a child, which is good not to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. The topic is quite wide.
Yes.
And to summarize it in such a small time is also challenging. But you all know that we have the influence of the, I would say, bodies, or I don't want to say Western world particularly, but there are bodies out there that are big financial corporations running universities, running governments, that are behind a very big agenda of disuniting family and overturning the roles of gender. You've of course heard of gender inequalities
Yes.
and all that kind of thing. And when you read or listen to these people talk, it sounds, most of their rhetoric sounds very civil, and they come up under things like human rights or gender abuse, or and talk about minorities, and that there is a group that is marginalized, and therefore we want to help this group that is marginalized to be as able as this other group. But then you find that that's not the abject truth. In this particular case of our discussion, you find that the female gender have been, you'll hear things of gender equality,
Yes.
and it sounds so civil and so good for you to have equality. But if you look at the scope of things, the way God has created them, then you discover that there's not quite an equality. Even in heaven, as I mentioned earlier, there is a hierarchy in heaven. There is God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And then after that you have a council of elders, and then you have archangels, and then angels. There is a hierarchy. Now, when it comes to family, the same resounds, as the scriptures say, the father is the head. So therefore, topics like gender equality then begin conflicting with the word.
Okay.
You get it? And most of our ladies or children as well, scholars, sometimes even our rulers, the government, have not really looked at things that way, and the wrong agenda has been propagated. And as such, we find that homes have broken. We have children who are not loyal because just because that hierarchy has been broken. So I think I'm still answering your question.
Yes, you are.
So I'm looking at it in that perspective of the new world order and things that are happening right now. He talked about how things have changed in the last 10 years. Exactly that. It has. So in other words, it's therefore very important and significant for a man to be very firm as a father, especially to instill integrity, resilience, hard work to our families. And also something that is not normally mentioned in families is, it's one thing to sit here and we talk about how we met our wives and how lovey-dovey everything was and probably is, but we don't normally talk about how does a man or a father remain a father amidst breaking homes.
Come on.
You get it? What do you do if your home is breaking? Then what is the role of your role as a father in that situation? And these are the realistic things that are happening. It's one thing to, as I say, to talk about the lovey-dovey and the expectations of the church or the expectations of the government. But what do you do with a child who has adopted? I told you one of my daughters now is in Nairobi,
Yes.
and she's learning engineering. But maybe there's another class she will attend, and they will talk about gender equality and how the woman must be equal to the man. So, and if she comes back home, what happens when those roles have changed? So all those come back as challenges. I don't really have all the answers, but there are things to think about and to exchange ideas about, especially in forums like this.
I'm picking a very, very important point here, that however much the world is telling us about gender balance, we should remember from the creation story, from where we come from, that there is a position for men that cannot be equal to anything.
Exactly.
However much a woman could be learned, however much that could be millionaires. I picked a point from Samia the president of Tanzania. She said, I am leading the country, but there is a man who leads me. I mean, that was a very powerful point. I mean, she would just end at that. But she kept on saying, no, but there is a man that leads me.
Right.
That is a very, very strong point. But you also mentioned a very, very significant point, that what should someone do amidst a crumbling situation?
Yes.
And this is where men are failing. And naturally, men don't want to open up. You know, and you don't want to open up to, that's why there's a lot of men dying with mental illnesses, because they don't want to open up to anything. They think, I'll be okay, But what happens when there's a man who has been doing so well, he's been paying everything, now there's a time when he cannot, and the woman takes charge? Should that man leave the home? What happens in that situation?
You're asking me the hard questions.
Because you are the author.
So one of the chapters in that book I mentioned is called Man and Wounds.
Man and Wounds.
Yes.
Wow.
Powerful chapter, the first chapter actually. And it talks about how the expectations that are put upon a man, and let me be specific, a father. Okay? And one of the things that a man is not expected to do, or a father, is to say, I don't know.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
As a father, you don't tell your wife, as her leader, she has asked a question and say, I don't know. And I don't mean technical questions, academic. I mean things that pertain to you as a leader. If you don't know, just say, I'll think about it.
Okay.
Then once you are, you quickly call someone or find out, find answers. What do you do in such a situation? Then, okay. And then you get back to her. Number two, you don't cry.
Don't cry.
Okay, it's different if you have lost someone and the situation, you break down. But you're crying because of a certain situation, a hardship. You send a different signal to the woman. She'll be shaken. She's like, oh, so this protector of mine is also crying? No. So those pressures that men go through, fathers go through, you stomach everything. You are not crying. You must not have all the answers. And you have to, to shoulder every pressure, every situation, both for on behalf of your wife and then your children. Okay? And if there are more children like myself and the captain, of course the burden is bigger. So you find men who are wounded. They won't talk about it out of ego, of You've heard of such things. You die like a man. Women are different. Women talk. When they meet their fellow women,
they talk. They pour out.
They pour out, which is good for them, because that helps them to, not to have that pent up, anger and emotions. For us, we call it Rugambo. Women love to talk. They have nothing to do. But actually, it's a copying mechanism for them. They talk. Sometimes usually it's Rugambo, yes. But it helps. Men rarely do that. When we're angry, we usually, if you're not the kind who expresses your anger, you just sulk. Okay? You get angry and you say, I'll get over it. I'm a big boy. Sometimes you don't actually get over it. You keep it there and it sinks somewhere, kept. Yeah. Then again you get over it. You keep adding. That thing will fill up, my friend. As a father, that little container you've been keeping things that you can't talk about with the fellow men, and one time it will come out in a very bad way. That's how you hear, oh, he killed her. But how? This man has been calm. We've never had him quarreling. Now, he got a knife and stabbed the wife to death because she said something that that just brought out that thing completely. And then after he's done, it's like, did I just do this? Those things are there. So as a father, it is very important that we find peers, fellow men that we trust, friends you can meet and you have a heart-to-heart, and you pour out. You become vulnerable, to people. There might be just 2 or 3 people in your life, even one. But this one I know, if I tell him my stuff, I'll not hear it from in other circles. And he's not going to condemn me, or to judge me.
Isn't that going to take away the manhood that I have?
No. Every man needs another man. Let me tell you that.
Okay.
So it's your responsibility to cultivate such friendships. It will not fall from heaven. You actively look out in your circle of friends, which person can I, first of all, create that rapport to the point where now I can open up, and vice versa too. If it's more than 1, 2, 3, that is even the better. If the other is not available at that moment, I can, even just bouncing ideas off each one of them to see, there are men who have no one. They have acquaintances, workmates. Hi. You can even be a pastor, but you don't have real friends. These are your sheep. You take it for granted that, they're fellow men. After service, you have a chat, But when you are going through
difficult,
there is no one. You'll just sit there and think. If God does not help you in that situation, you're in trouble. In big trouble. So being a father in this day and age is not easy at all. So if you're a father and you have children who you have a happy family, that is the grace of God, and you should thank God for that. I read somewhere that when you have, for example, teenagers and they've started talking about marriage, not that they want to get married, but they look forward to getting married, that is a compliment already to you, because they see it is positive. It's a good thing to be married because they've seen it in as you've modeled well as a father. So they want to get married to you. And I'm speaking of daughters. They want to get married to a man because the man they have lived longest with is a role model. They wish, my daughters have said many times, I want to marry a man like you. You are the best dad in the whole world. It doesn't move me anymore because they've said it over and over and over.
Come on.
And I took it for granted. When I mentioned it in a men's forum one time, that my daughter told me the other day that I'm the best dad in the whole world. And they were like, wow. I was like, really? Like, is that what they tell you? They said, no, it's not. It's not obvious. They're here. They tell me that all the time. And I'm like, okay, in spite of all, I thank God. I'm not bragging about it. No. But it means that certain things I've been able, by the grace of God, to demonstrate. And I bless God for that.
For those of you that have just joined us, we are at Rubis International Christian Learning Center. It is located in Entebbe, and of course I'm having a panel of men, and we're just celebrating fatherhood. We're celebrating the men of integrity, fathers that have made a difference. And of course we are pointing out a few things. We might not say it out all because of time, but we are pointing out the do's and don'ts of a good father. And these guys are sharing their experiences. They come from different walks of life, and they're coming here so that they can give you their experience, and maybe from that you'll pick a leaf. We are going through a very challenging moment where boys are becoming gay, and hence we will not have fathers tomorrow. Comment about that.
Obviously, that's it's a very difficult reality. I think that sometimes, especially for us who are, very spiritual, religious, Christian or non-Christian, we are dismissive. We are not engaging of the issue. We think that we can pray it away, or we can what's the word? you can't wish it away. It's something that reality has come upon us, and its face is right in our eyes, and that has been increasing over the years. It's not something we can just wish away, and it's not something we can just pray away. It's not something we can just talk away. It's something that's here and it's growing. And the sooner we come to terms with that reality, the better for us. That's number one. And it points, and let me add to the other thing of, when we struggle, I'll come back to that question, but let me just add this, that we live in a real world where there are real challenges. And sometimes, especially as Christians, men of faith, we act as if, and we are taught to act like there is no trouble, there is no pain. You are the man, you're a man of God, you're a man of faith. These things don't happen. When they happen, just, portray the image, be positive. And so you fail to come to terms with the fact that, man, this world is real, and there are issues. And it's the same thing with this gay thing. So first, we must come to terms with the reality that we are being attacked, if we want to use that word. The thing is here. That's number one. Number two, I think that we have a responsibility to model something different. We have a responsibility to inculcate biblical truth and values to our children.
Okay.
Our first responsibility as fathers is to inculcate this biblical truth and biblical values to our children. And this happens in two ways, both in the teaching and explanation of doctrine, but also in the modeling of it. The other thing we need to do is, because you can't teach without knowledge, so we must invest in understanding both what we believe and also that which challenges what we believe. Because if you do not know what challenges what you believe and how to respond to it, then you don't know how to respond to it.
Yes.
And so we need to invest in understanding what is this. There are arguments that this thing is it's nature. The nature debate. Is it nature? Is it nature? And sometimes we ourselves are confused and we don't know. But I think it's important that we invest in actually understanding so that we can provide answers to our children when they ask them. So I would say first, our responsibility is accept the fact that it's here, and therefore then don't bury your head in the sand thinking that this thing will just disappear. But two, invest in knowing biblical truth, invest in knowing biblical values, and try as much as you can to inculcate that in your children. But also invest in knowing what else is out there, so that when your children ask you questions, you actually have answers. Otherwise, it's difficult to say, as much as we need to sometimes, I don't know. Because if you say you don't know, then at least find out and come back to me and give me an answer. But you say I don't know, and this is a question I'm wrestling with, what will I do? The internet is here on my phone. I can access anything. And I don't know what my children will land on if they don't get it firsthand from me. So I think that our responsibility as moral guardians for our children, our responsibility as those who help our children to appreciate biblical truth is a responsibility we can't run away from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Captain.
Yes. Again, the issue of boys or men who think they want to become women. Again, it's a controversial and very big discussion. in our society today. Personally, I want to look at it as anyone that is posed to that kind of thinking, it be a lady or a man. I think for me, I really look at it as that condition is a vice. You know, in my language, bulwadde. You know, I wonder what I can use that, or what the best I can use for that in English. But it's a vice, and we have other vices that have shown up in the last few years. We have anxiety disorders, ADHD, you know, in children, mental issues that have come up in the last 10 years.
Yes.
Apparently, these societies that I mentioned earlier, when they look at anxiety, for example, they never come up and say, oh, you know what, we have now anxiety prevalent in society, and I think let us get all the people who have anxiety disorders and give them and say they are marginalized, and therefore let us look for rights for the people who have anxiety disorders. They don't. When it comes to things like anxiety, they will seek counseling, and they will look for even scientific drugs that can curb such vices. When it comes to homosexuality, they say, no, it's not a vice. It's inborn, and it's they should be defended as a right.
Yes.
So then they contradict themselves.
Yes.
But anyway, to answer your question directly, I look at it as these are vices in our society, and people who are predisposed to that kind of lifestyle need counseling. We don't need to hate them, but we need to bring them in, provide counseling, awareness. I think you talked about awareness, to really know exactly what is happening in their world and come up with solutions.
All right. Our time is first spent, but we want to just give. How can you survive? You got a minute each. How can a father in this generation survive?
Wow. Well,
You
have to leave.
Nathan.
Well, I think it's very important. Fatherhood, first of all, it's not just a responsibility, but it's also knowing. You know, knowledge is very important. We're not born with this knowledge. I hope you know that. You say, now you are born a boy, then you grow up, then when you reach a certain age and you become a father, then suddenly the father instinct shows up. No, it's learned. You know, that's why there are good fathers and bad fathers.
So
even
they
the bad
must
fathers,
seek knowledge. If you want to survive as a father, you must seek understanding, seek knowledge.
Absolutely. The
That's
Bible
good.
says, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. It's not just knowledge of God, it's knowledge of everything.
Thank you. Yes.
As a father, seek a good partnership with your spouse.
Come on.
Seek a good partnership with your spouse. Invest in building a good relationship with your children. Listen, and I'm not saying take everything, but listen. Take time to listen to your children, and also invest in relationships with other men that can enrich your own, life.
That's good.
As a father.
Yes.
Yeah, there is that scripture that says, I have been young, and now
I'm
old, and I have not seen a righteous man being forsaken. I think that once you're aligned with God as number one, the rest falls suit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Align yourself with God. Man, this is a mouthful. Thank you so much. I want you to reintroduce yourselves to the viewers, and I know I'm going to get you again. I know now, because we've started something that is so big, and we've just only tackled a nugget of it. You won't even understand. It's more than 45 minutes now. So okay, so we're going to come back, and I want to thank you so much for being part of this broadcast. Please look straight in that camera and introduce yourself.
Captain Mutebi Emmanuel, Uganda Airlines. Thank you.
Samuel Opolot, I serve with Africa Inland Mission.
Yeah, Nathan Kiwere, a writer and a publisher.
Beloved, thank you so much. I know that you picked a point right there. We had a scripture, 1 John chapter 3 and verses 1. See what great love the fathers have lavished on us. And of course, we're using God as a model for fathers on earth. And remember, they said, men, don't do this. They should not quit knowing. All men should know. Don't say, I don't know. Okay, there was also another thing that my friend here, Samuel said, my namesake actually, said that please don't cry. Crying is for other people, not for men, not for fathers. You must always have an answer. And then seek knowledge, okay? And now have a good relationship with your spouse, your wife, okay? And then have a good relationship with your children and other fellow men, men of substance. You know, keep around yourself men of substance. And then have a good relationship with God. Man, thank you. It has all been summarized, and we want to thank you so much for, of course, being part of Rubis International Christian Learning Center, and we hope for the best. Please come again when I invite you.
Thank you.
All right, God bless you. We're coming back. Don't go away.
You've owned your fear and know your self-loathing. You've owned the voices inside of your head. You've owned the shame and reproach of your faith. It's time to own your belovedness.
You've owned your past and how it's defined. You've owned everything everybody else says. It's time to hear what your father has spoken. It's time to own your belovedness.
And he says you're mine. I smiled when I made you. I'll find you beautiful in every way. My love for you is fierce and unending. I'll come to find you, whatever it takes, my beloved. On the mess you see in the mirror, you've won the lies that you're just not enough. You've been so blinded by all your comparing. It's time to own your belovedness. And he says you're mine. I smiled when I made you. I find you beautiful in every way. My love for you is fierce and unending. I'll come to find you, whatever it takes, my beloved.
are still watching the Gospel Hyper, and thank you so much for choosing to watch UBC TV. I'm so honored that you have chosen us. And of course, I promised you that your life is not going to be the same again. Every time I come to your space, I make sure that I bring words and bring guests that are going to sharpen you, and you are taken to another level. Of course, today we're celebrating Father's Day. We're celebrating all fathers that are significant in our communities, in our families, in our places of work. Fathers that are significant, you remember that. So it is not only celebrating just sperm donors, people that just donate sperms. No, we are celebrating fathers, people that carry responsibility, people that carry a mantle of God, people that represent God on earth here, because God the Father, and of course it goes on and on and on. And of course I'm joined by one of the best. He is a man who speaks the heart of God, but today he has got a message for fathers. And of course, that is Samuel Opalot, my namesake. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you for gracing us
Thank
again.
You. Thank
All right.
you.
Now, you have some moments right now so that you can speak to the men.
Thank you.
So whatever that you feel that God has put on your heart to encourage fathers. We are in a situation where fathers are dying, fathers are fading away, people don't want to take responsibility, people are running away from what they're supposed to do, people don't know the creation mandate. This is a moment where we need fathers to take up their positions, because if they don't, then other people are bound to get lost.
Thank you.
You got it. You got it.
Thank you. It's a great joy, and feel very, very privileged to share with you today. I'll be reflecting very quickly in a few minutes on our theme for the day, which is taken from 1 John chapter 3 and verse 1. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 1 reads, it says, "How great is the love the Father has lavished on us." That's our theme, but I would like to read the whole verse, for it says, "How great is the love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God." And that is what we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know Him. Now, we read this from one of John's letters, and indeed, specifically, we're reading from 1 John. John is referred to as the apostle of love, we know that. But then we ask the question, what exactly is John talking about here? And I would like us to go back to the beginning of the letter to explain a little bit of what John is talking about, and then draw a few lessons for us as fathers. First, let's go to chapter 1 of 1 John. Now, John writes in verse 1 of 1 John chapter 1, he says, and I'm reading from verse 1 to verse 3. This is what John says. He says, "That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked at and our hands have touched, this we proclaim to you concerning the word of life. The life appeared, we have seen it and testified to it, and we proclaim to you the eternal life, which was with the Father and has appeared to us. We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you also may have fellowship with us. And our fellowship is with the Father and with His Son, Jesus Christ." Those are the opening words of 1 John. The opening words is John explaining to us his testimony, and he's saying, what I am sharing with you, I have seen, I have touched. What I have heard, I proclaim to you. And he narrates to us what the Father par excellence, has done. You see, when John in chapter 3 verse 1 says, the Father has lavished on us great love, he's referring to that act of God where He sends to us Jesus Christ, an act of sacrifice, a demonstration of love as a father. So this love that has been lavished on us is demonstrated by an act of love. It's not a word simply, but it's an act that has required sacrifice. So when John says the Father has lavished love on us, he's referring to an act of God that brought Jesus down here. He lived with us and died on the cross for us. You see, if we are to learn about fatherhood, then the reference point really should always be the Father par excellence, God Himself. God Himself is the example of love. What has He done? Number one, He has shown the way of salvation. The Father has demonstrated that His love is not just word, but is in acting so as to save. And now we can say we are children of the Father. Why? Because Christ died on the cross, demonstrating God's love. Now, there are many ways that we often show love. You know, buy flowers, we buy chocolate, we do all kinds of things. But you see, God demonstrates us by reaching out to the most important of the things, the thing of our salvation. And He does that by sending Christ to live here and to die on the cross. So that's one. But the Father has also set a standard. The Father has set a standard. He calls us to Himself. He calls us to a certain life. He calls us to a certain moral code. And I would like to challenge us as fathers that as fathers, indeed, we are called to demonstrate love. How? By showing our children the way, showing them the way to the Father, showing them the way that brings life, the way of eternal life. That's one of our responsibilities. But also, too, we are called to be those that God counts on to set a standard. When it comes to fatherhood, I think there are three questions that the father needs to answer. Number one is the question of faith. The question of faith. Are you pointing your children to the faith? Number two is the question of the moral and ethical standards. Are you demonstrating and inculcating moral, biblical values to your children? Number three is the question of being a father, because your children look up to you, and your son, your daughter looks up to you. Are you the father that he desires you to be? Is God your example? Are you living by that standard? As we celebrate fathers today, it's important for us to remember that God Himself has set the bar, and He has set the bar by demonstrating love, and that love has been demonstrated in very physical ways. Very physical ways. It's cost sacrifice. Are we demonstrating sacrifice? Are we demonstrating faithfulness? Are we demonstrating godly values? Are we drawing our children to God the Father? That's my challenge to you this day. I challenge you to think about God and how He has demonstrated love through an act of love that led Christ to the cross. What act of love that your children can lean on, learn from you, are you demonstrating? Are you drawing them to the faith? I pray that the Lord will bless you as we continue to celebrate fathers and fatherhood and manhood in this month of June. God bless you so much.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. In all my days, I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. Every breath
run the race set out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. Pioneer and the perfecter, we will run this race with our eyes on you, the pioneer and the perfecter. We trust you to do what only you can do, the pioneer and the perfecter. We run this race with our eyes on you, the pioneer and the perfecter. We trust you to do what only you can do. What only you can do. The pioneer and the perfecter, who will run this race with their eyes on you, the pioneer and the perfecter. We trust you to do what only you can do, the pioneer and the perfecter. We will run this race with our eyes on you, the pioneer and the perfecter. We trust you to do what only you can do.
It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Big Sam is my name. I want to thank you so much for choosing to watch UBC, your #1 broadcaster, and of course, choosing the Gospel Hype. We have just had a lot. It's celebrating a Father's Month, and of course, it's a pleasure that all fathers are keeping light back in the line so that they can do whatever they need to do. Today, I took a chance and I joined the Rubis team right here in Entebbe, and we're just celebrating fathers. You have seen such great talent, and of course, these kids right dressed up so smart. Like, what's your name?
Nathan.
Nathan?
Yes.
What year are you?
I'm in year 9.
Year 9? What you
Yes.
studying?
Pardon?
What you studying?
I study math,
Math?
English,
Okay.
physics.
You like the school?
Yes, I love
What
the
is so
school.
special about the school?
I love how free I can be and how I can be true to myself.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Joshua.
Joshua?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
What do you love about this school?
The environment and the friendly feeling around here.
I tell you what, man, I've just joined this school and I feel the friendly kind of, aspect in this school. I love the freeness. I love that when the kids come here, they get what they're supposed to get. And I'm joined by the lead of this particular beautiful school. But before she comes in, come here, my dear, come here. There is some poem right here, something that is so special that I want this girl to just air out. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. What's your name?
Tessie.
Tasty? All right, Tasty, you got something to air out to the public, right?
It's a spoken word,
Spoken word.
and it's called, I actually have two.
Two.
One is called Hunger, and it was written by W. Grieve.
Okay.
Hunger, a hole in each of us, opening our essence, challenging us to more. So we run or sleep or pretend to have fulfilled life. We blunt the hunger bit by bit, working the mole, filling the hole. With faking scraps, spending our soul, laboring on never satisfaction, seeking distraction and dissatisfaction, a swallowing snake of small shallow things, consuming joy and freedom. So ask for the hunger, for the stirring, for new moments, for more. Pursue God, seek hungry friends, awaken hunger in others, awaken the sleepers who are just waiting for your words, for your actions. But first, ask, seek, desire, hunger.
Wow, that's a beautiful one right there. Confident as it is, and of course she knows the meaning and she will tell us later. But before she gives us another one, I'll have a word from the head. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing well. I'm fine, thank you.
Everybody wants to know about Rubis and how you got this wonderful idea.
First of all, my name is Joan Tumusime. Rubis started as a homeschool in 2014. I started out homeschooling my children. I'm a mother of four of them, and I wanted a Christian-based education, Christian curriculum, and we started out with ACE, Accelerated Christian Education. Along the way, someone trained me and got me interested in Cambridge curriculum, and then we switched. When we switched to, after switching to Cambridge, COVID hit. And then I was asked by some parents to reach out and help children in different homes. And thereafter, we, one by one, started getting parents asking us to take in their children. So when the time came for the first batch to sit for IGCSE exams, they requested that they wanted to camp at my home. And my husband said, the numbers have grown, please get something, get a bigger place. And that's how we ended up moving out of home. And then we ended up with a bigger number, and here we are. But we are happy that we are touching lives. The children are getting to know Christ, and we bless the Lord for that.
What is the difference between all other schools in Uganda compared to this school?
And the difference is that we have Christ at the center. We do a lot of Bible reading. We do a lot of prayer. Morning, 5 a.m., we are up with the girls and the boys. We have different boarding facilities, so one for the girl and one for the girls and one for the boys. And we get up at 5, read the word, pray together, and we start the day with the Lord. Another difference is that we emphasize character building. We know it's possible to walk away with A stars after your studies, but the character will take you very far. That's what makes us different from other people. Not only the grades, but the character and the fear of the Lord, which is the beginning of wisdom.
Now, where do you see Rubis International Christian Education Center in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, Ruby will have many missionaries, doctors, lawyers, evangelists, all careers, but with godly values. Ruby International will have different places where people can reach out to and they get the comfort they need. Yes. The education system seems to be it's challenging right now. There are so many challenges that parents face as they look for money, and they leave the children in the hands of nannies, they leave the children in the hands of teachers. But Ruby will be a hub for those parents who are not able to be there at a particular time. We want to have as many places where parents can take their children and they feel comfortable that their children are safe. They are in safe hands. So Ruby International has plans of reaching out to different nations, not only Uganda, not only East Africa, not only Africa, but worldwide. Why we believe that when we engage all key stakeholders, we mean the parents, the teachers, the local communities, the government, all key stakeholders in raising up the children, the world will become a better place.
Yes. Now, lastly, if someone is watching us right now and they want to be part of this community, they want to be part of this education center, what should they do? Are you guys on social media? What should they do?
Yes, we are on social media. We have numbers. We have telephone numbers. One number that you could easily give us right now is 0773 805 845. You can get us on our website. I'll ask one of these children to give us the website. She knows. I also know, but I would like her to come. Martha, please prepare. We can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Wow, come on,
yes.
Come on. Give it to us.
The website?
The website is called Ruby International Christian Learning Center, which can be ad-libbed as Rich. Yes. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yes. And another number that you could reach out to is 0755 26 96 46.
All right.
We are also found in Bugonga. Mugwanya Road, Plot 12. That is in Entebbe, Wakiso District.
Your last words. Your last words.
Oh, thank you very much, viewers. It is a big pleasure, very big pleasure. We are honored that you've chosen to watch, you've chosen to see what the children are doing. One thing that I want to say as we wind up is that these children, one of them talked about the liberty, the freedom they are given. We do a lot of interaction with them. There is good working relationship between the school and the parents. We are glad that the fathers came. Yes. The fathers, we are blessed that even over the weekend, there is the liberty for the parents to come and pick the children. We interact with the mothers closely, and we work with our children closely. So it is a closely knit family. We call it the Ruby family.
Wow. Well, that's so beautiful right there. You got it. And I want to give you another spoken word right down here. You ready?
Yes.
You want to hold it yourself? All right.
This spoken word is called Renewed by W. Grieve again. The mantle has been placed on your life, the cloak of destiny and revelation, the vision of what God has for you, the vision of how God sees and deeply loves you, His future dreams and hopes leading your mind, will, soul, layers to be revealed, affirming your identity. So, let go of the wounds, let go of the sins, embrace vulnerability, seek counsel for the journey in disappointment, grief, fear, in the tiredness, stress, and tests. Seek healing, live a transforming, beautiful life by taking the next step, faithful and free again. For God loves you too much to keep you small. You are now going to grow. Through processes and promises, renewed thoughts of destiny, life intertwined. You will stand in your place, declaring and decreeing change in Christ. This is our adventure in the kingdom. He waka ekenoa, a canoe which we are all in with no exception.
Thank you. How old are you?
14.
14? Want to look straight in the camera and say hello to your parents?
Hi, mommy. Hi, daddy.
Hey, she's my mommy too. You gotta say the name.
Hi, Julian Nakuru, and hi, Thomas Kamate.
All right, that's beautiful. Thank you. Who want to say something? Who want to say something? Come on now. President. Come on, President. Yes, sir, President.
Yes. Hello. I'm Victor Tsime. I'm the president of the student body of Ruby International. I'd just like to start by saying Ruby is a lovely environment, and it's welcoming, it's enriching, it helps you to grow spiritually. It has great programs both for sports and education, and it's a welcoming family. So please, come to Ruby.
Well, after the president, I cannot say anything else, but I'm the president of this program, so I want to thank you so much for staying glued to the right program. And of course, we will give you this wonderful music track. It comes in all the way from Kirk Franklin. Smile. I love you. Bye.
You turn graves into gardens. You turn pain into promise. You bring beauty from ashes. Where we go, I stand by you. Only you take me out of the gate, yeah, out of the gate, yeah. I'm on the, I wanna wait, yeah, out of the gate, yeah. I'm on stage, yeah. I mean, take it, I ain't a wait, I'm on, yeah. Dead man brought me back to life. Dead man brought me back to life. Dead man brought me back to life. Yeah, dead man, now I'm living twice. Make these dead bones live.